So in this video, I'll be talking about the new Insta360 X5. I'll be talking about specifically the Essentials bundle and what comes in it, along with a few extras that I purchased. I'll do a quick unboxing and kind of answer the big question, why buy one if you already have the X4? So let's check it out. So I'm going to do a quick unboxing of the Insta360 X5 Essentials bundle. Now, why did I choose the Essentials bundle over all the other ones? Well, let's say you just are getting into 360-degree cameras. You kind of not sure what you may want to buy as far as accessories are concerned. The Essentials bundle, in my thought, is a bundle that does provide you with pretty much what you need and then some. In my case, I've got an X4, I do have some accessories, but looking at the price and looking at what comes in this, as far as what I'm looking for, this Essentials bundle made sense. So let's look at what's in the box. Again, on the Essentials bundle, the nice thing about this, you do get a number of things. You're going to get extra battery, you're going to get a utility fast charge case, you'll get your selfie stick, of course, along with some standard lens guards, a lens cap, USB-C cable, and a protective pouch. So let's kind of check into what all is in here. So again, like I said, you do get a selfie stick, and of course I've got one already from my X4, but you can never have too many, so it's all good. In here you will also notice there's a user manual package. Here is an extra battery. We'll talk about this guy a little bit more later. And let's see what is in this here as well. So let's cover the battery first, just to kind of go over the obvious thing. So one of the things you're going to notice about this here is that the battery is a little bit different than what you would find in the X4. Now, looking at them initially, if you notice, the one over here on this side, this is the one for the X4. And on this side, this is the extra battery you get in the Essentials bundle that is for the X5. Now, what's different about them, if you notice here, your connectors, or the, if I can get my focus there. So essentially what you've got is you've got the actual contacts up here in the top, whereas on the X4 they're at the bottom of the battery, depending on how you look at the battery. Now, if you look at them at a glance, I mean, they both have the gasket seal, and it's the same color, but what is different about it is that they are different in that the one for the X5, if I put them right against each other, is a little bit longer. And like I said, the connection point for the contacts, the battery contacts, are on the side of the battery versus on the X4 where it's on the bottom. The other different thing that I can see here, on the X4, you're looking at about 2,290 milliamp hours of battery, whereas on the X5, you're looking at about 2,400 milliamp hours. So there's definitely a difference in the battery that you get here as the extra battery. So that's actually pretty good. So you're getting a little bit more out of the battery life. Now, one thing I noticed on this case that you might want to take into account is this kind of looks like a handle, but it's not. What it is really is for your selfie stick, which is kind of cool. I do like this. Normally, I usually get hard cases, but sometimes you're wanting something smaller and portable, and I think this here is a great thing. So that's another reason I got the Essentials bundle, is because it does have this nice semi-hard case. It's kind of a cloth gray material, very nice texture to it, easy to grip, and again, like I said, you've got this place for your selfie stick, which is really good. So I kind of like that. I'll turn it over this way. And so I think that's pretty handy. That's good to have. Over here, looking inside, here's where all the goodies are. Oh, let's cover the user manual stuff. Let's see what's in here, because you never know. There might be some other items in there. Nope, looks like this is all just manuals. I'm pretty sure there's some stickers here as well. Stuff that you can use for some late night reading, which I kind of don't really use for late night reading. Now there is some other stuff here. This is, oh, interesting. So you've got some cleaning stickers here, and this is for the microphone part of the X5. So that's something to keep in mind. So it's kind of good that I did open this package here. So that's kind of cool. So it looks like just a little foam sticky. Well, it's not even a foam. It's kind of very thin rubber-like material with a sticky surface under that. And again, like I said, these are cleaning stickers that you would use for the front microphone of the X5. So we'll kind of look at that a little bit on the X5 itself. You also are getting some stickers, of course, which is kind of nice. I do like their stickers. They're kind of cool. And then, of course, the usual manuals that come with it. So that's kind of a cool thing to have. Now inside here, you're going to notice, first thing you want to do is probably look in here because there's something in here from what I could tell. So what this is here is the protective pouch that you get like on the X4. You're also getting it for the X5. Let's see what's in here. Looks like you've got a cleaning cloth. Now this cleaning cloth, I'm going to tell you, you definitely want to have a cleaning cloth with you when using any Insta360, whether you got the X4 or the X5 or the X3. You definitely want to keep a cleaning cloth around because one of the things you want to make sure is your lenses are clean on the camera itself. You also get a USB-C to USB-C cable, which I got a few here and there, but that's also nice to use for charging or data transfers from the X5 itself. I'll get into that a little bit more on the X5. On the pouch, that's pretty much it, but like I said, this is very similar to the one that you get in the X4. In fact, it's identical to what's in the X4. And also in here, this is something new, and this kind of got my eye on the X5. One of some of the reasons why I went ahead and wanted to go with the X5. Unlike the X4, which is more of a block type charging hub, this one is very similar to that of the DJI action camera battery chargers. This is again a utility fast charge case. It allows for you to put your batteries in here for charging. See if I get this right. It's got an arrow there. Okay, so it looks like the arrow, and it does snap in there when you put it in there. But oh, and there you go. It's got the little light there if you notice, once I put that in there. So I do like that. The arrow here, if you look real closely, indicates that where the contacts need to be positioned. So that's an easy way to tell how to put the battery into the charging case. Now you do have to push it in and squeeze it in there and hear the snaps of the latches to show that it's actually locked in. And then of course it does light that light up. So I think that's kind of cool. I do like that about this fast charging hub. And I also like the fact that you've got 3 slots here for your micro SD cards. Not that I keep extras around, but if I did, I think this would be a good place to store them because it does kind of safely lock them in, so you're not going to accidentally lose 1 or 2 along the way. Now, I've noticed that on this here, you have this built-in cable. And first thought was that this here is to charge your batteries. And in reality, this is more if you're wanting to charge, let's say, your Insta360 X5, then you could use this to charge it with, or your phone or some other device. That's what this is really intended for, provided that you're got some batteries in here. The other thing here that you want to look at is that you've got a USB-C port here, and this is what you would connect with that cable, the USB-C to USB-C, to charge the batteries. So that is what this is for. So something to note, that this is not for charging, but rather for charging other devices, and then you would use the additional cable to charge with this. Again, like kind of a correction on what the USB-C to USB-C cable is all about. Anyways, that is something to note. So yeah, I do like the fact that this fast charging hub is new. I like the fact that it's very slim. You do charge up to 2 batteries. You can have one on the phone, on the camera itself, and have 2 more. In my case, you know, I'm pretty happy for now with 2. Now, if you're out in the field, I'm going to tell you, you want to have at least 2 batteries, because even though you can get maybe up to probably an hour with 8K video in this camera, you you probably will record more. So having that extra one is good. And you never know, your battery may not be fully charged, so having that extra one is good. So at the very least, in my case, I always make sure that I have at least 2 batteries. Now, should I go with 3? Only time will tell. I plan on using the 360 camera this year a lot more to see what kind of videos I can get out of it. Now, it is kind of cumbersome because I have to use 2 editing tools to get my video, but I'm trying to adapt to that. And of course, it is more time consuming, but you do get a lot other nice things using a 360 camera. Now, I'm not going to get into all that, a lot of details, because in this video, it's more about the product. And there's plenty of videos out there, of course, that cover a lot of the features of this new X5. But I'll kind of highlight the things that kind of made sense for me. Now, the other thing that you get in here is the standard lens guards. And these aren't the glass ones, but it's nice to have these, even though one of the key things about the Insta360 X5 is the fact that you have the ability to replace the lens. Now, that's worst case scenario. I still kind of use these lenses, and I've used the glass ones before on the X4, the premium ones, and I've used these as well. And yes, these plastic ones can get scratched or dinged. I've had one got dinged on me, very minor, but yes, that can happen. But in either case, I'd rather have that than the lens. Now, if the lens were ever gotten scratched or broken or damaged to where the video is not good, then yes, I have that ability to replace them with the X5. So that's what you get in this Essentials bundle, and I think that's kind of cool. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, you're getting, of course, the X5. We'll talk about this. Oh, by the way, you also get this other thing here, the lens cap. Now, the lens cap, I usually buy it. They're usually about $5 and change. I don't know what the price is currently, but at the time that I bought mine for the X4, it was in that price range, buying it direct through Insta360. Now, I do buy them because this does come in handy with some of the accessories, and I'll get into that in a little bit here as well. Now, dimension-wise, and I don't have my X4 here to compare, but from what I've seen, these are pretty much the same. So physically, everything looks the same as far as the dimensions of the X5 versus the X4. And we're going to find out. I'm going to try some of the accessories that I still have from my X4 with this here. Now, just to kind of cover a few things, you still have your normal buttons that you do with the X4. Nothing's changed there. You got the power button in the side. You also have in here the USB-C part here where you can connect for the battery or data transfers if you're trying to do data transfer. I usually take the chip out and kind of do it that way, but you know, the SD card. If you notice here, you've got the SD slot here, and it kind of tells you where it is. Here's the battery, and again, like I said, this is the USB-C port for charging. And then, of course, you've got on this side, if I take this off, the battery. Here it is. Now, of course, the battery, like I said, this is a, if I can read it, no, that's the wrong side. There you go, 2400 milliamp hour battery. And looking at this in here, it looks the same as like the X4, nothing different there. Like I said, the big difference, of course, a little bit bigger battery, as well as where the contacts for your battery are located. Other than that, you still have the micro SD card slot here, where you would put your micro SD card, and of course the battery there. Nothing different. Now, the one thing you want to make sure whenever you put this in there, and of course it's like the X4, you're essentially placing the contacts here on the bottom part of this. This is how you would put the battery in. Now, make sure that when you press in the battery, you hear the snaps, and you want to make sure that there's no orange color showing here. That's telling you that it's not fully closed. And if you're going to take this in the water and everything, you want to make sure it's pushed in and it makes that snapping sound. And you'll see that the little orange indicator kind of disappears, and that's kind of telling you that you got a good seal there. Now, you want to make sure that that's the case. Now, here's the microphone that is kind of a key. There are some other mics here that you have on the Insta360 X5 here. So this here is kind of like a built-in wind guard is what it's called. And going back, remember on the user manual box, you have these guys here that are essentially cleaning stickers. And what these are for, looking at this, is this right here you would use to clean any of the particles that kind of build up on the little mesh here of the wind guard on this mic here. And I think that's kind of cool. And if you notice, it's here, so when you're talking, you can have that kind of help you with the wind noise. So that's kind of cool. I think that's a nice new feature in there. Unlike the X4 where you had the wind guards here on the sides that you had to stick on. I thought they were kind of weird in a way, but I kind of like the way this is here. So that's kind of nice to have. And again, you know, looking at this here, you've got, again, the two lenses that gives you that 360-degree view with the stitching being done in the middle. So that's another cool feature of that. Let me see what else we can cover here. All right, so this is what you get in the Essentials bundles. Okay, so this is what you get in the Essentials bundle, which is kind of nice. I'm getting some of this lint out of here. Again, like I said, you get this little part here, which is nice. The lens cap, kind of like a rubbery silicone type lens cap, very similar to what you get with the X4. But I like the fact that, again, like I said, the Essentials bundle does come with things that one would need, essential things that you would need. Essentially, that kind of fits the name of the bundle. And I do like the fact that you've got what you need all in that one box. You've got that, you've got the lens guards, which again are handy. You've got your charging hub here as well as the extra battery, and I like that you can carry everything. The other thing is you got the selfie stick, which fits on the other side right here in the front. And oh, by the way, you do have a hand strap here, of course. That's kind of nice. And nothing else here. You do have the manuals, which of course I'm not going to carry in here. You get the USB-C to USB-C cable for charging, and you also have, again, the lens cloth, which is essential. The other things I want to cover real quick too, I did purchase some extras. I did purchase the replacement lens kit. Well, actually, I didn't purchase it. Let me clarify that. It actually came with my bundle deal because I had a code, and because I had that code, I was actually able to get this as a freebie, which to me that was great. Once you get into lens guard here real quick, there's some stuff in here. Let's see what we've got. So the lens guard kit comes with cleaning wipes. You got disposable gloves. You've got some cleaning wipes, some sealed up lens cloths. You get a couple of these, which is kind of nice. And of course, you also get a little, looks to me, oh, a little cleaning brush. It's kind of neat. And in addition to that, you're also getting a little carrying case for the lens itself. And there you have it. There's your replacement lens, which is kind of nice. You also get some additional tools. This is a lens grip tool, which is kind of nice too. Look and see what we've got. Got a little lock unlock kind of thing here on the top. So this is kind of cool that you do have everything you need in order to replace the lens. You also have a little small blower, which is kind of cool as well. So this is kind of nice. So that is what is in the kit as far as the lens cleaning kit. Of course, there's some information there as well on how to use it. And I'm telling you, this is something handy to have. I would definitely keep this in my bag if I am traveling, because the last thing you want to do is not have a way to fix your lens when you're traveling, because once it's damaged, I mean, there's not much you can do. You won't be able to use it and you're there traveling. So the Insta360 Mic Air is an accessory that I did purchase as an extra. I normally don't do vlogging, but I figured, hey, might as well get one to try it out. What you get in the mic air here is, of course, your user manuals. And in addition to that, you have an actual little case here that comes with the actual mic air. It's actually a pretty good size. I do like that. It's kind of neat. It's got a nice little finger grip thing here. And inside of it, you've got one side that's got the actual, boy, this is small. This is a really small mic. I kind of like that. That's actually really small. You do get a button magnet, which is kind of cool as well. So you can actually use that. I'm assuming it goes under your shirts, and it'll just, boy, that's a really strong magnet. I think that's going to hold pretty good. In addition to that, you're also getting a clip magnet. And if you notice here, if I can get this focused, it's got the little clip here that you can clip it along with the magnet on the bottom. If I can get that focused there we go. And so that's kind of cool having that on this side here. You got those little items there. In addition to that, you also have what is essentially your charging base, which is really cool. USB-C, USB-A connector. I'm surprised. I prefer USB-C, but that's still pretty good. So that is your actual charging base, which is cool. And you also have something that looks like a ring here. Check it out. But essentially what this is, the windshield for your actual mic. And in addition to that, you also get what they call a magnetic pendant. And essentially it's just like kind of like a necklace kind of thing. You do have this adjustable. So it's really very, very thin cord, which I kind of like. And of course you got the little magnet here, so I guess that way you can wear it on your neck as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can wear this, which is really cool. I do like the fact that that's a good number of accessories for the accessory itself. So I think that's really slick. I'll have to try this out sometime. Like I said, I'm not a big vlogger, but that is kind of cool. Here's the big question. Why buy one if I already had the X4? And I've used my X4 and I really liked it. I've used it in the beach. I've used it while riding my bike. So I've had some good uses on the X4. And I've even done some nighttime videos. And one of the things that challenged me was nighttime videos. And, I went to Vegas on one trip one time, and for some reason I just had a challenge in getting some good quality video. Partly, I guess, it was my lack of experience on nighttime videos using a 360 camera, but at the same time, it does have its limitations. And a lot has to do with the fact that, unlike the X4, the X5 has a 1/1.28 inch sensor, which is bigger, and it does capture more light. So that's kind of why I was like, okay, maybe I should go with the X5, because I did have my challenges with the X4 for nighttime videos. Now, I don't do a lot of nighttime videos, but it's something that I kind of want to do more of, but I was kind of limited because of what all the X4 is capable of doing. So that was one of my big motivators of why I went with the X5 and decided to trade in my X4. The X5, you capture more light, so as a result of that, you end up having a less noisy video. Overall it's a better image quality. You also have what they call nighttime pure video, and that's in 5.7K 30 frames per second. From what I've seen, it does give you better images, like I said, with less noise. So that's something that I kind of look forward to trying out with the X5. But again, that's a big motivator. The other thing, of course, the big motivator for me is the fact that the lenses themselves on this camera are a little bit tougher than the X4. So that was another reason. The biggest reason, of course, of all is the fact that you've got the ability to replace your lens should you have your lens get damaged while traveling. The built-in wind guard's kind of nice. Like I said, I don't do a lot of vlogging, but that is a nice feature that's in there. It wasn't a real big motivator for me, but I'm kind of glad it does have that. Now, this does go down to 15 meters underwater, so it does go further than the X4, that's another nice thing about this here. But, you know, if I'm going to go underwater, I'll buy the underwater housing for this guy because from what I've seen, you don't get that distortion underwater if you use that underwater case. So that's something to keep in mind. Like I said, I'll be buying that now that I've got the X5 because I do use this underwater as well. So now let's cover the question here is, can I use this with my existing X4 accessories? Now, here's one example. I've got the actual folding selfie stick that I had for my X4. That's like a 50-something dollar investment, and the last thing you want to do is not being able to use that, you know, because I had to switch from the X5 to the X4. The good news from what I can tell, let me fold this up. Yes, you can do that. Now, this will also work. This comes with it. It covers the lenses, but in my case, I kind of like this a little bit better because I'll flip it open real quick, and then I'm just taking this off. Although at times I'll probably use this one here as well. But that's you got the option of whether you go that way or just kind of leave it like that. So yes, your investment on this selfie stick, the folding selfie stick, is still there, so you don't lose out on it. So I'm kind of glad that that's the case. So the other thing too, you've got other things like this for the quick release, those magnetic quick release thing. This one works as well on there. I forgot the name of this thing, but in any case, you can still use this. Actually, let me do this right. There we go. So this is still usable. So you maintain your investment on the quick release here for your backpack. So I kind of like that that's still the case. You don't lose out on this piece here. Now, here's another thing that I have that I want to take into consideration. So another accessory I've got is a Cianova cage. I'm going to see if that still fits the X5. This was for the X4, so I'm going to see whether or not that is still something I can make use of. Let's see if I've got this right as far as what goes in there. So I am seeing that there is a slight difference here in trying to get this in, and it does not look like I may be able to retain my investment on this one here. It looks like it jams right here, and I'm not going to force it, but I do see, why is there a resistance here? So what has changed in this here is the USB-C slot. So yes, I kind of lose out on the cage that I originally had. So that is an investment that, well, that I'm gonna have to probably just get rid of. So at least we know about that. That does not work. Let's see. Of course, if you've got the long selfie stick, this still works, obviously, because it's just a twist-on bolt there, so you got no problems with that. Let me see what other accessories I've got. So, oh yes, I'm pretty sure this does not work. Obviously, you're not going to need an external mic if you have one or not. That's another X4 item that I'm not going to be able to reuse. So yeah, there are them. For the most part, everything is still usable. You know, I also have the tripod Insta360 selfie stick, which of course, again, same thing. You got the same scenario here where you can reuse that. So I don't lose out on some of the things that I do have. I do lose out on this. Obviously, I can't make use of the X4 battery, so that's going to have to go away. But as far as the other accessories that I have, it's still something that I can make use of, so that is a good thing. In summary, again, essentially the lens replacement as well as the low light capability of the X5 was a big motivator for me. And like I said, I went with the Essentials bundle because that had pretty much what I needed. I did want to get the extra battery and the fast charging hub. That's just an automatic for me, so I'm kind of glad that the Essentials bundle did come with that. I did need an extra selfie stick, but hey, you know, not a problem for me on that as well. And again, the case, not that it's a big dollar item, it's still something that I can make use of. Like I said, I like this for travel and even putting into my backpack. I know that there's a newer one out that DJI's come out with Reason I didn't look at that one was because of the lack of lens replacement. So there you have it. That's why I have that. Again, like I said, I hope this helps you in making your decision. And I do appreciate you watching this video. And also, I do appreciate you for subscribing, those that have. If you have not subscribed, if you don't mind, click on the like and subscribe. That does help me with my stats. And that's pretty much it. So have a good day.